Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you. If you're returning, welcome back. I have missed you. I am super excited for this reading. Cooper and I have been talking about this and planning this for about a month now, and we are on what we call a super duper Mom and Cooper day. Now, because of the way the weather was and how everything went, he really loves doing these readings. So I was like, well, how about on our next Super Duper Mom and Cooper Day, we do a reading together? And he was so excited. So Cooper, he and my stepson Hayden started doing a monthly Pokemon battle at the local library. And so Pokemon cards have become, again, another huge influx of Pokemon everything in our house. Now, this is no stranger. We have thousands of Pokemon cards in our house. But as I was sitting here preparing, the original concept of this reading was going to be why your inner child is grateful for you, because we are in November and gratitude is, even though gratitude is important every single day of the year, every moment of every day, really, November is that month that brings us back to that awareness of it so that we can re-engage and cultivate gratitude on a daily basis. But as I was sitting here going through the Pokemon cards and thinking about what kind of day it is, because, Super Duper Mom and Cooper days are days where I pull Cooper out of school. We do this once every semester. And he stays home from school and we just spend time together. We just do this dedicated time together. There are days where we go and we hit every bakery here in town and he gets whatever he wants from the bakery. And then we have bakery items in our house for 2 weeks until I'm like, okay, this needs to be thrown away. Because it's always like, oh, I got to get this and this and this, like a kid in a candy shop. But it's very similar to a yes day. We do these special things. We go out to dinner or we go out to lunch. We get coffee together. But more than anything, we spend the day talking. And because of that, there's that cultivation of the relationship. As I was preparing for, this day and what we were going to do for the readings, I got to thinking about the inner child. And instead of focusing on why your inner child is grateful for you, this is more about stepping into a role of showing your inner child that you're grateful for your inner child. Because I got to thinking, the way that we are as adults, as parents, we're the parents, we're the adults, we're meant to teach our children these things. So the inner child for each and every one of us, we can look at very similar to the parent and child relationship. Now, the inner child shouldn't be sitting there going, I'm really grateful for you, because you're trying to cultivate gratitude for all the pieces of who you are. The inner child operates on a different level, a different frequency, a different understanding, a different awareness. Think about you as a child. Your parents spending time with you, doing quality things together, cultivates that awareness of the things that are said, the loving words that are given and said to each other. So in that way, this whole reading is how to have a super duper day with you and your inner child. And it's all about showing your inner child that you understand what your inner child has endured, has gone through, and that you appreciate, that you love, that you're grateful that your inner child is still here helping you embrace the art of play and rest and relaxation and youthfulness and curiosity and innocence that we can lose sight of as we go through not just the spiritual journey, but adulthood in general and walking through this world. So this is all about the messages from each of the Pokemon, and I apologize if you guys can hear the heater. I know I say this in just about all of my readings, but it's winter in North Dakota now, and my office gets really cold, so I have a space heater. So if you can hear that, I apologize. I will do my best to block it out. But this is, you're going to pick the Pokemon and the Dragon Wisdom card, and we'll go over what all the energies mean and kind of some of the lore of it for how that plays into the spiritual lesson of what role your inner child really is in. But Cooper's part is going to be looking at the cards and talking about how you can engage in more play with your inner child based off of these specific cards. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the cards. We'll go one by one just with the Pokemon cards so you can see them, and I'll tell you what their names are. And then I'll leave you guys to get in touch with the cards and the energies. As far as the rune goes, this is going to come into play during the readings. It is a collective energy. We're not doing separate runes for this one specific reading. It is a collective energy. But if you are curious, the rune that we're working with is Nothies, and it's the rune of need. So it almost is self-explanatory, and I just wanted the energy here. We're also working with a blue candle because I set the intention for clear messages from your inner child. And I did want to cover that stuff with you. So for pile 1, we have Zacine, and it's a Zacine V. This is from the Celebrations edition. It is also from, I believe, let me look. Oh, yeah. It's Celebrations edition is when this card was released, but the character Zacine or the Pokemon Zacine is from Sword and Shield. So that is your first one. And then we have the card Decidueye GX. Here we go. And Decidueye is from Generation 7 and Generation 8. And this particular one is from Generation 7 in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Okay. And then we have Houndoom. And this is an EX card. And Houndoom is from Generation 2. And I'm not entirely sure which edition necessarily this one is. I would have to look that up, but and I can't tell you guys which one this is from because I have to ask Cooper. I went searching for it online, but I couldn't find it. And pile 3, we have Lugia EX, the legendary bird. And this is also a Generation 2. The generations are when they first premiered. Let's see. These two cards are from 2015. This is from 2017 and this from 2021. I'm not entirely sure why I'm telling you guys that, but I trust when Spirit is like, tell them the years. So we're looking at that time frame for when these cards came out. All of them are Cooper chose them all, but they're all like legendary, super special ones. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you guys here, get in touch with the energies, and I will see you at your piles with Cooper. Hello, pile one. So I'm here with Cooper, and I know in the intro I said that we were going to do how to play with your inner child. Cooper was going to do that. But instead what he's going to do is he's just going to bring a message from the Pokemon itself. And then I'll bridge the gap with the dragon and bring forth more messages. So Cooper, why don't you tell them, we'll go over what Zacine is. Zacine is traditionally or normally a fairy and steel type Pokemon. This in particular is actually a psychic type Pokemon that came out as a special edition in 2021 to celebrate 25 years on Pokemon. But Zacine is known as the hero of many battles, also known as the crowned sword when they give him a rusted sword in order to step more fully into his power. It's a legendary Pokemon from Generation 8, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and that Cooper is currently playing. And the theme of this Sword and Shield is about strength. And it takes place in the Galar region, which is based on Galahad or San Graal or Grail, the Holy Grail. I don't speak French, guys, just so you know. But the land itself was based off of the United Kingdoms. Some of the energies that are attached to this card are wishing stars or wishing pieces, spots of power, ancient peoples, and the nemesis, Eternatus, a poison dragon alien, which ushered in the darkest days, which represented by a black storm after being on Earth for approximately 17,000 years, when a major corporation leader
Chairman Rose,
yep, who was the business owner of Macrocosmos Corporation, tried to capture and control Eternatus and use his power to create an unlimited power supply. Now, this is all about power versus strength, and how being trapped and controlled and lacking true connection can create the illusion of being the bad guy with Eternatus, and how someone can grow from being a warrior into being intellectual and understanding that the mind is mightier than the sword. This goes along with the theme of the pen is mightier than the sword. So Cooper, if your inner child, or if you had Zacine as your friend, as your ally, what do you think Zacine would tell you as you're growing up?
Since Zacine is a very mystical Pokemon, and that it is actually created from a rusted sword, I think it would say, follow your dreams, and you can do whatever you want as a living.
That's interesting. Anything else?
And if anything happened in my life, it would be there for me.
So would Zacine then be like an imaginary protector? Or like an energetic protector, not necessarily imaginary, but energetic protector?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other messages that he would have?
Well, not really.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Cooper, for this. And I am going to let him go and we'll continue with the reading. All right, guys. Out of the mouths of babes. So Zacine here is talking about making your dreams into your reality. And, Cooper honestly doesn't know about a lot of the things going on in the collective energies, nor about a lot of the things that I channel here for my readings. And I find it so beautiful and fascinating to see how in touch our children actually are to the overall energies in the cosmos. Because more than anything right now, Spirit is literally talking to all of us about creating the reality that we desire, about trusting ourselves, stepping into our power. Now, with the Nothi's rune, Zacine, and the Silence card, the Silence Dragon Wisdom card, we are working with this understanding of good versus evil, right versus wrong, and the ways in which fear and power struggles can really, really leave us in a state of lack, a state of feeling a need for something, a need for some sort of action to be taken. In this case, for this entire reading, not just your pile, but all of them, one of the biggest needs is your inner child really needs you to understand that there are times in life, especially with your pile, there are times in life where you feel as though you can't continue, as though you can't do what you're meant to do, as though the silence of waiting and watching the clock tick down, tick, 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 and hoping and praying and then seeing no results. All of this, it's simply just an illusion. It's about faith. It's about hope. It's about truth. It's about understanding the essence of where you're coming from. We can look at this just like spaced out on the hourglass. We can look at the hourglass and feel as though we are unable to live the life that we want because it's too late. There's not enough time. The times that we're living in are so on and so forth. It's literally just like we can just give ourselves all these reasons and arguments and excuses. But here's the best part. One of the things that as I was researching this Zacine card, I actually researched the artist who made this, the illustrator, Mitsuhiro Arita, who was one of the original illustrators for Pokemon cards, all the way back when Pokemon started, 26 years ago. Freelance, self-taught illustrator. He genuinely did not know if the cards would be a success as he was working on the projects before Green and Red came out. And he was quoted as saying that he was actually worried about finding a new job when his contract with Pokemon ended. But he is self-taught. He is freelance and self-taught. He made his dreams into a reality, and now his artwork is known worldwide in so many different arenas. This is so important. Now, when he created this particular Pokemon, he created a new form or a new type of the Zacine Pokemon. He created a psychic type. This hasn't been seen in anything else. And this new type creates a very interesting turn of events because the very steel, which once gave it strength from the sword, has now become its weakness because it stepped into a state of a higher level of intelligence. And it is now, and so steel is one of its weaknesses, but it's also resistant to anything psychic because it is psychic. So it has that higher level. Now, this is about your mental strength overcoming brute force from here. Your inner child is letting you know, like, hey, you have this brilliance to you. Can you remember the brilliance that you have? Because you've been doing this since you were a child. You have this awareness, this mental power, this understanding of how to overcome your fears, because those are your weaknesses, ghosts and dark types. It's fears. Anything that represents fears is where you find your weakness. With the Dragon Wisdom card, it talks about the enemy, the quote-unquote bad guy, Eternatus, and how power is misused when the truth of time becomes clouded by fears, as well as the pains and struggles of the past serving their purpose and divine time in our journey. Then the hourglass is flipped and we begin anew, learning when to remain silent versus rational or reaction. becoming reactionary. This is about the mental power of cultivated inner silence so that you can hone your psychic gifts and overcome your fears. You're my highly psychic pile. It's 11:33 on my timer. Wanted to note that because those might be significant numbers, but I have to go let Willow in. It is freezing cold outside. All right, guys. This is the first snowstorm of the year, and so Willow's not doing so hot with it. Some synchronistic things that may apply here. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. The numbers 8 and 25 were very prominent. Now, this Pokemon is actually number 888, which is very synchronistic, very divinely guided. This is about you, like literally what Cooper said. And he had no idea about these things, guys. So my son blows my mind. This is about you creating abundance in your life. It's about you really building the foundations of abundance. And for a lot of you, it's about using your gifts, your talents, your skills, and your inner child wants you to do that because your gifts and your talents and your skills are actually sourced from your inner child. But your inner child has been silenced for so long. So this is calling for you to get more in touch with your crown chakra and your higher heart chakra as well. Some crystals and stones that came through were diamonds, opalites, moldavite, and any other meteorites. As a child, you may have had a fear of thunderstorms came in, but you may have been drawn to flowers, plants, crystals, or even just rocks. Like you may have been one of those kids that collected rocks a lot. You may have felt misunderstood, been a troubled child, had a lot of temper tantrums, and felt like you had an inability to control your reactions. You may have struggled to trust because of issues with your family. And I got this energy of running away, either like the actual action, threatening to run away a lot when you would get really angry, or for some of you, it was an escape technique. You would daydream about running away so that you could escape the struggles that you were in your family. I feel like a lot of you have spent a lot of time feeling silenced, and especially those with high psychic gifts, feeling silenced. Silenced by your family, silenced by your own fears, and your inner child has been trying to help you cultivate an awareness of how to heal this. So one of the best ways we can do this is actually by engaging with our inner child. Some of the things that I love doing when it comes to my psychic work and in engaging with my inner child is actually diving into research in different areas, because when I was a kid, I was a nerd, hardcore nerd. I read books more than I played. I just did. I love to be out in nature and go for walks. I love to create things. But I was very much into the realm of reading and educating myself. It just was something that I was fascinated by. So I let my inner child get curious. I apologize if you guys can hear all the rumbling. Willow is playing with the cats. And by playing, I mean she's like, ooh, let me jump on you. All right. Anyway, your inner child wants you to engage in play, like get disconnected from other people for a while and listen. There's something about silence that when you engage in active listening to your inner child, more of your gifts are going to become ever more prominent for you. And it will really help. Like, spend a day with your inner child. Spend a day disconnected from the outside world and just engaging in a sort of silent holding space for your inner child to come forth and come through. If you get this urge to, go get ice cream, I'm seeing, or eat a certain candy bar. I'm actually seeing somebody like making like a fruit salad, or watching movies, drinking hot cocoa. I'm just seeing a whole lot of different things. If you get the urge to like go outside and play, go swing. I'm seeing seesaws and monkey bars. So maybe going to the park. If you get these urges, go do that, because what you're doing is you're hearing what your inner child is saying. And I know it maybe seems a little bit like that it seems almost obvious to do these things, but take note of what specific things you're being asked for, and then ask why. As you're engaging in it, say, why is this what you're asking me to do? What impact does this have? If it triggers memories, what do the memories make you feel? What do they make you think? How do they show you a part of your perspective in life? Oh, I know, baby. Sorry, Willow's whining because she can't get the cat because the cat is too high and she's too short. How does it shift your perspective or highlight a perspective that you have of yourself that sources from your childhood? These are all really concrete or practical steps that you can take, because this is about learning how to engage with your inner child. Because the more that you engage with your inner child, the more you show your inner child how much you love them, need them, and are grateful for them. So let's take a look here first. This is going to give us kind of the energy of silence, just these 3 cards. What silence really means to your inner child. And this one here is going to be what dreams your inner child is trying to pull you towards. So we have the 9 of Wands, the Hierophant, okay, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so for a lot of you with this silence card, the silence is going to show you about your fears. It's going to show you about the pains. There's a lot of like childhood pains. This house is actually on fire by the looks of it. So it may be that silence reminds you of a house of silence, like a childhood with a silent household. And I don't mean like nobody ever talked in your household. I mean, nobody heard you. What you said wasn't heard. It wasn't taken into account. And this house burning down, I'm getting that runaway energy again, almost like maybe as a kid, you just genuinely wanted to see things get destroyed and you couldn't understand why. And so all you could do was really just like stay silent. And that silence created this wound surrounding traditions, surrounding beliefs, surrounding the mother archetype, the divine feminine archetype, but also surrounding marriage or commitment, relationships, and spirituality. And the way that spirit truly works and flows in your life. There may be a lot of wounds in these areas. Now, again, these are all things that are just kind of like flooding in. So forgive me, there's a little bit of resistance with your guys' inner child. And the reason for that is because I feel like your inner child has been silenced for a very, very long time. When you go through a childhood where you have these temper tantrums, you have these outbursts, you're suddenly labeled as defiant, as difficult, as a troublemaker or troublesome. And then you realize okay, no, I have to temper my emotions. I have to clamp down on them. So I can't have any kind of high emotional states. And because of that, you don't experience the opposite either. It's kind of like some kids get put on medications and it turns them into zombies because they just genuinely they're just highly psychic, highly intuitive children. And it comes off in a very like ADHD, ADD, or, disordered kind of way. And because we don't understand that as a society and we don't cultivate that and nurture that in our children, the children end up having these outbursts, these inabilities to calm down. Something I've noticed with Cooper especially is this year, he has a significantly easier time in class. He still talks out of turn, but he gets really excited. But he's not bouncing up and down, and the teacher isn't struggling with him nearly as much as the teachers in the past. And this is partly because we have cultivated a household in which his gifts are harnessed. His psychic abilities are utilized on a regular basis. So all of him is starting to come forth and come out into his active everyday life instead of being repressed. The more that comes, the more peace and calm it is. The more he loves himself. And so this silence card is asking you to understand that not everything is meant to be a struggle or a battle, but you're meant to feel all of the emotions. You're really meant to engage in every emotion there is. All right, let's take a look at following your dreams. We have the Queen of Cups, again, with the intuition, the Five of Wands, and the King of Cups. Whoa, see, this is about a relationship. I can't deny it when it comes up. This may be a false narrative told about the nature of divine union, or a false narrative told about how relationships are. Like, you can't be in a true loving, committed relationship because it's all going to be a struggle. It's all going to be a battle. You may have acted out as a child in order to try and get mom and dad to get along, is what I'm getting as well. Your inner child wants you to stop seeing the mother archetype and the father archetype, or the husband archetype and the wife archetype, in the lens of pain, and bring forth more love. Bring forth a greater awareness of things not having to be a struggle all the time. You're not meant to battle with each other. You're meant to come together and to love each other and to flow together. And when you step into this awareness that it doesn't have to be this painful, it's literally 11:11 on my clock right now. I can't even, you guys. When you come together with the person that you love, and this is part of your dream, is making this true love exist. Your inner child is saying it doesn't have to be a struggle. The dream is that it's not a battle. The dream is that everybody gets along. Everybody is equal. Everybody is truly on the same level. Even if they don't realize that they don't have to battle, they're on the same level. It's about balance and harmony and equality, but the pains of the past have to be let go of. But the longer that you stay silent on the pains of the past, the harder it is to have this new beginning with your emotional body. For those of you who are not in a union, this is 100% about your divine masculine. Divine masculine and divine feminine energies. I literally was like, oh shoot, Willow's gonna end up like destroying things. Jade, go lay down. Go on. Thank you. Willow has the zoomies right now, and she's got a stuffed animal, and Jade's like, ooh, I want it. Yay, animals. But I can't, like, these cards can't be denied. With the Hierophant, the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups, this is literally about how you view union. Even if it's just the divine masculine and divine feminine within you, this is about how you view union. This is about how you view union and how you utilize your own gifts. Whether you believe that there is a possibility that you can take this union with another person, with spirit, with the divine, within yourself, and elevate it to a new form where you aren't reactionary. You're not battling anymore. Now you're coming into harmony. If you're in a relationship, for those of you who are in a relationship, if you've been going through a really, really difficult time, the lunar eclipse, the total lunar eclipse in Taurus, opened a portal to alleviate the tension between these energies, even if you're not, but between the Queen and King of Cups, to alleviate the tension between them so they're not battling each other. They're not looking in opposite directions anymore. They're literally shifted. So they look at each other, they look at where the conflict is, and they work it out. This is what you're now stepping into, so that this pain and the past can actually, like, you can look back and see the burning and say, okay, let it burn. Let it burn down. Because the silence is being burned down. Now you're moving into a new state, a new connection. Let's get your last oracle cards. We have Bear, Spirit, and Healing. See? And look, with the bear here and the King of Cups here, this is literally like healing that divine masculine energy or healing the connection with divine masculine, healing in that connection, the bear spirit. And I love that it's like literally it's a down snowing kind of day. Like it's snowstorming out. And this is the card that you guys have. This is literally talking about allowing love to be the healing force, the healing energy, allowing for this spiritual healing to occur in your connections so that silence is no longer what it used to be. It's not a weakness. It's not a pain. It's something that is so positive. Your inner child really, really, really is such a deep romantic, wants love, needs love. You may need to give your inner child more love or just engage in more play and love because that's going to heal not just you, but your connections in so many different ways. Then we have Ladybird, accept happiness and good fortune. Archangel Preminilik. I'm probably butchering that. So if you want to Google that, go for it. But this is, whenever I see a spiral, I think about time. And we've got, you know, these dandelion seeds with ladybugs or ladybirds who are all about good luck. This is about choosing to close like a cephalopod, choosing to close the chamber of the past and centering yourself in happiness, knowing that luck is on your side, knowing that you can make a wish and that wish is going to come true. This is about knowing 100% that the past is now in the past, that healing has taken hold, and that you can actually be happy in your life. It's what your inner child wants more than anything, is for you to be happy in life. So let's get your final card. We have Dark Blue Galactic Dragon. Helps you listen to the voice of the universe. Ignite the codes of your master blueprint. Accept cosmic wisdom and enter higher service. We're all created unique, but we're all uniquely created to love. When you allow, and the dark blue is definitely that third eye chakra, when you allow yourself to love yourself, to be happy, to love the psychic gifts that you have, and to realize that you're in a connection or you're in a place in your life now where you can actually harness your psychic gifts. You don't have to be afraid. Your inner child actually needs you to harness your psychic gifts, needs you to develop those, needs you to develop a connection with your inner child, because your inner child is the harbinger of your psychic gifts, because your inner child holds all the gifts and wants you to take it, wants you to open to it, wants to come together with you, does not want there to be this conflict anymore. When you look at the conflict, when you see the conflict and you stop ignoring it, that's when you can heal. And you can actually hear the voice of the universe. This is about your intuition, your understanding, your knowing, your awareness. This is stepping into the truth of who you are, harnessing that clear-cut messages from the universe about what you need to do to really nurture that inner child. Some of you just simply need to sit and listen to your inner child, because nobody ever listened to you as a child. Hold space for yourself. Without there being conflict, without there being discord, hold space for yourself, because you deserve it, because you've earned it, because you deserve happiness. You deserve to live the life of your dreams, and your inner child wants you to come and play and have a super duper day with your inner child where you really just go on this mystical adventure, knowing that this is going to bring so much happiness just by engaging in it. Screw the rest of the world. Let's go have some sort of psychic adventure with your inner child. That's literally all you need to do here. All right, pile one. Wow. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. This was such an incredible energy, and I'm in awe. So thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to your guides and mine for facilitating the connection between our energies. I want to say thank you so much to Spirit for using me as a channel to bring forth your messages, your awareness, your higher perspective to the collective of pile 1 so that they can heal this, play with their inner child, and really move forward into a state of happiness and good fortune. All right, pile 1, thank you again. If this resonated, please do the YouTube-y things, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. That way you get notified when I upload. Down in the description box, you'll find links to book a personal reading, links to donate to my channel. For those of you who have donated, thank you so much. It means more to me than you guys know. And links to my author page on Amazon. Down in the comment section, I love engagement. I try my best to respond to everyone as best I can. So please comment below. Like, this community is meant to be different than others. This is meant to be an interactive community where you know that I'm here for you, with you, and cheering you guys on, and that you are free and safe to share yourself here too. So, all right, pile 1s, I love you guys. I am sending you guys so much positive, uplifting vibes so that you can step out of this state of silence and really, really use your voice and your psychic gifts, because you guys are powerful, powerful psychics. And I believe in you. All right. Thank you again. I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile 2. So in the intro, I said that Cooper was going to be talking about the Pokemon and how you can tap into their energies to play with your inner child. But instead, what we're doing is he is just going to take the Pokemon card, and he's going to tap into the energy, and he's just going to bring you a message from the Pokemon about your inner child. So we are working with Decidueye and Decidueye GX. It's another legendary, right?
No, it is actually a lowland region starter Pokemon that is maxed out.
Oh, so it's maxed out. So that's what GX stands for.
Yeah.
So it's like a super powerful bird thing evolved. Yeah. So what do you see, or what message does the Decidueye have from the inner child for pile 2?
I feel like it means like you should always soar above what you like. Try to go for your goals or above your goals, and it'll let you know that you can accomplish that. And just that, be brave. So
be brave. I like that. Is there anything else at all?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you to Cooper for bringing these messages forth. I'm going to pause it and let him scamper off to go play Pokemon while we continue to talk, pile 2. Okay, guys. So I'm actually going to start with giving just a little bit of the background of Decidueye GX. So last night, oh, I apologize. I did not mean to do that. I was moving my knee and I just bumped my desk. Last night, I was doing this research into Pokemon, and I have been pretty adamant about not doing research into Pokemon. My boys are just like, they love it so much, and David is so great with it because he's been playing it most of his life. And so it was like, okay, well, this is a boys thing. But when Spirit was like, oh, use Pokemon cards. Oh, this is brilliant. Like this idea has come through before, but having Cooper be a part of it is so great. As I was looking at Decidueye, the first thing is like, decide your eye. Like, decide your view. Decide what you see, what you perceive. Just the name in and of itself. I know that you can look at like deciduous trees And that's really what it is, like the view of a deciduous tree. And then we could get into cycles, but that's not what I picked up. It's like, decide how you want to see the world, see yourself, see possibilities and potentialities. Now, this is called the arrow quill Pokemon because all of its arrows are actually quills. So this is about deciding the story, the narrative. Your inner child wants you to decide to change your story. And that's really like with this Nothi's rune, in the sense of that being the rune of need. And this can come in many different ways, but in a big way, this is a need for the perspective, for a higher perspective, a higher awareness. Your inner child needs you to see more about yourself. Decidueye is the final evolution. Happens at level 34. So the number 34, 3, 4, or 7 may be significant to you. This is Pokemon number 724. So those numbers may be significant in some way, shape, or form. You may have been seeing 724 as a time on your clock a lot lately. And it not being a like repeating number, but you seeing it on a regular basis could actually be like, what is this? This is really weird. That's what this is. It's serving as a confirmation for you here at this reading. This Pokemon is also generation 7. There are a lot of 7s in this energy. With all these 7 energy numbers, this is about seeking. This is about knowledge, wisdom, the spiritual path, the spiritual enlightenment. And then you look at the dragon, which is the temple of the sun, and it's about seeing the truth of yourself by looking in the mirror. It's discovering who you truly are, discovering your true power, your true light. Now, Decidueye is a grass, in this card specifically, it's a grass type, but traditionally it's a grass and ghost type, which is very unusual because in its prior 2 stages, it was a grass and flying type. So what I got from that was it's literally an as above, so below kind of thing, or as below, so above kind of energy with the grass and the flying. And then when it transforms or evolves into Decidueye, which is what we have here, you turn into a grass and a ghost type. This is the time frame where your inner child wants you to go within so that you can understand more of what's going on in your outside world, but also how to shape and mold your outside world. It is an as within, so without, but everything that I picked up was backwards. As below, so above. As without, so within. And this may be because you've been viewing things in the reverse. Garnering your worth and your integrity and your identity based off of what the outside world says, instead of looking internally, looking into the mirror of truth of who you are. The energy of Decidueye is the ability to mask its presence, to be hidden in plain sight. You can see the hood right here, literally masking itself in the trees. But, and when it knows what it's aiming at, when it knows what it wants to hit, it takes 1/10 of a second. That's it, just 1/10 of a second. It's like the blink of an eye to take aim and hit the target. It has the hidden ability of long reach, so it can actually hit a target from a very long distance away. However, it can be in a state of panic if it gets caught off guard. Now, this to me speaks of hypervigilance. There's this energy of it's time for you to see that you are protected. It's time for you to understand that need that you had to protect yourself, you don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to hide yourself anymore. So this Pokemon is weak to fire, which is actually a beautiful thing because you want to break down the defenses of this Pokemon. This defensiveness that your inner child has, the standoffishness that your inner child has, you want to break down the barrier. And fire is a purification element. it's the element that represents spirit in the world. The physical elemental representation of spirit in the world is fire. That's why we always talk about an inner light or an inner flame, because fire is the physical manifestation of spirit in this world, because fire is life-giving. In this physical reality, fire is life-giving. There is an energy with this in the lore of this Pokemon about being a wall breaker via something called nasty plot. And I didn't even bother looking into like the finer details of these things, because I was taking these Pokemon moves and abilities and getting psychic downloads for spiritual awareness. The other one is that this Pokemon is able to overcome enemies with something called Spirit Shackle. Now, we're not thinking spirit in the terms of how we see spirit, but what this is when Decidueye takes aim and aims at its opponent, at its target, when it hits, its arrow actually takes blue and white flame and anchors the shadow to the ground so that its opponent can't go anywhere. But what I got from this is you have this ability to interact with somebody, to speak truths, to share perspectives with other people through being a mirror to them, being a mirror of truth to them, to show them their true self, their true power, and their true light. And you do this in a very unique way. You do this by freeing the shackles of their spirit. And in order to do that, you actually have to harness your weapon, which is truth. You have arrows of truth that you aim and take and allow to be loosed at your quote unquote enemies or opponents. And what it does is it anchors their shadow right in front of their face. It triggers their shadows. And because of this, when you were working in backwards mode, it was as though everything that you were doing was wrong. And you internalized everything. Everybody's triggered responses to you, triggered actions towards you. You internalized those as though you were wrong. When really what you were doing was sharing a divine gift that you have of highlighting via divine truths someone's shadow. And you likely have been doing this since you were a child, which has led to hearing things like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, you're going crazy, this is not a conversation you should say, I don't know how you know that, but you shouldn't ever repeat that, that's not right for you to say. And in reality, all you were doing was speaking truths. And because of this, your sense of trust and truth have become distorted with your inner child. Your inner child is asking you to take aim at the light now instead of the shadow, because your inner child needs you to come and prove to it's essentially you need to prove to your inner child isn't broken, isn't wrong, isn't crazy, isn't stupid or cruel or mean or trying to hurt people, anything like that. All those things that your inner child is asking you to show the truth of internally. Your inner child needs you to take its hand, energetically speaking, take its hand and walk it into the sun. Walk it into a place that fills you with joy. You know, I'm actually seeing like Disney World and, you know, amusement parks where back in my childhood, they used to do this thing where they would film people getting their dream vacation. Like they would tell these kids, oh, we're doing this and this and this and things like that. And then they'd find out they were going to Disney World and you'd see these kids crying and it created this this desire within all kids my age to go to Disney World, but also to go to Disney World in a very extravagant, like, let's make a video of this and submit it to the local news kind of way. I want you to think about that in terms of a child, and then give your child tickets to Disney World. I mean, if you can, and you're in Florida and, you know, you are not dealing with the hurricane stuff and Disney World is open again, you know, all those fun little circumstances, go for it. But this is more energetically, emotionally, mentally. Give your inner child the gift of dreams come true, the gift of shining oneself out, the gift of the courage to be your truest self and to see the world how you see the world and say, it's safe for you to see the world this way. You don't have to worry about it anymore because you are safe here. You're not going to cut yourself on the edge of your own truths. Now is the time for me to show my own inner self, my own inner child, that all of the knowledge and the wisdom we have gained throughout life has given us a very unique perspective in life, and we get to decide our pathway forward. We have evolved and come to the pinnacle of our strength, which means that we can do anything and accomplish anything. So now I'm going to take my inner child and step into this light of the sun. Step into this golden, beautiful energy, this empowered solar plexus energy, this blended solar plexus sacral creative empowerment energy. So this is how we can tap into the creative empowerment, and this is how you can take it into the outside world. So we have the Chariot. Ride the waves is what I just heard. The King of Wands. Yeah, okay. And the Three of Cups. Quite literally, like, you want to be creative. Understand that you're the one at the helm. You're the one that controls where you go on this divine flow journey, because you're the captain of the ship here. You have come into a place of personal success. So take your inner child on this journey of truth and enlightenment. Literally, like, you have this power, this creative ability to become the master of your destiny. And in doing so, literally, like, celebrate. More than anything, celebrate. If you want to step into this creative temple of the sun, realize that you are already a success. Your viewpoint, your ability to see the world the way you are after being told all those things as a kid, that in and of itself is a huge success. That is a massive, monumental level of power. And you can literally see everything. So instead of shrouding your eyes and shrouding your face and hiding yourself away, literally step into the sun. Don't fear the fire. Let the fire purify you. Let the fire cleanse you. Become the phoenix in your life and celebrate this. Celebrate it. Welcome in other people. Welcome in creative collaborations. Welcome in creative inspiration. Sometimes our inner child just wants to create with us. So create something with your inner child. If you don't normally do creative things, sit down with a coloring book and some coloring pencils or crayons or markers or something, and just remember what it was like to be a kid again, and give yourself that. And then when you're done coloring a page in a coloring book, hang it on your fridge. Celebrate what you have done for yourself the same way that you would be celebrated as a kid. Give yourself that, because the more that you own who you are, your victory, your awareness, your perception, the more you step fully into your personal power. And the more you celebrate yourself, the more the world celebrates you in return. It's a very beautiful energy here. When you bring your inner child out of that hiding place and into the sun and into this joyful energy, it really is so beautiful. And this is all internal stuff. So let's see the external. We have the Seven of Pentacles. And again, with the sunflower, I love that. The Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. Oh, I really love this for you guys, because the Seven of Pentacles is you nurturing the things that you have been doing. So the more that you feed your inner world, the more you have this patience to nurture the things that you're doing, because every time you nurture it more, you really step into this energy of, I know how to hide myself and mask myself. Now I can become the chameleon. Now I can start blending myself instead. I can blend different things together that will help my crops grow, that will help my creations grow. And I'm going to do this in the most absolute unique way possible. I'm the zebra. I'm not a horse. I'm a zebra. And because of that, when you blend this chameleon and zebra energy, I'm literally seeing like a color changing zebra in my head, which is so funny. Some of you may have had like a little, like, I'm seeing like a little plastic, old school zebra, like almost like a squeak toy when you were a kid that changed colors in different temperature water. Let me know if that resonates. That's what I'm seeing. But this is saying, like, when you step into this victorious power internally, when you give to your inner child, when you really feed your inner child this love, this light, this energy, allowing your inner child to come out and see the world for what it is, for themselves, deciding these things and knowing that this ability to, like, purify other people's shadows or show their shadows and where it needs purifying, that this is a beautiful gift. It's a blessing. It is a blessing, and it makes them very unique and very, very victorious and successful in this life, because it means that they are constantly, you are constantly aware of your shadow. That makes you very powerful in this life, as powerful as you can get right now. Now, I'm not saying that you can't, like, get more powerful or anything like that, but I don't need to qualify. But when you realize that you're already in the flow of where you're meant to go, and there's nothing that you really need to do aside from ride the waves and stand in your power, purifying and allowing for this to be the case and celebrating yourself, the more you nurture these things that you're doing, the more inspired you become. And the more inspired you become, the more you take on different levels of inspiration, because your mind operates differently. Your heart operates differently because you see the world differently. You see the world and light through the lens of the shadow, through the mirror of the shadow. And that's a really beautiful thing. More than people might acknowledge, more than people might realize, that's a really beautiful thing, because when you can see the world through the lens of the shadow in order to see the light, you see both polarities. You see the totality, the whole picture, the whole image of a person. You don't just see their light and therefore you can't get hurt by their darkness. And you don't just see their darkness so you don't have any hope for the light. You see both. You see both, but it's not like you have to go through the light to get to the shadow. You go through the shadow to get to the light. So you understand their wounds and what role you can play in helping them without it hindering or hurting you. That's a really beautiful energy. And that is a really, really beautiful thing that you can give to your inner child, is this awareness that you can do this. So your inner child doesn't have to feel like I have to be on the defensive all the time. So let's get your final messages with your oracle cards. We have the card 50, Wizard of the Woods with focus. I'm literally looking at these like they're so similar. Are you guys my Reiki pile? I'm just looking at this, but this almost feels like the arrow, like you focus on what you need to focus on here. Then we have Snake, live according to your divine essence, the elemental kingdom. Seriously, you guys. Like I was talking about with fire. Fire is the elemental representation of spirit. You guys may want to start working with the elements and understanding the elements, understanding the light and the dark aspects of working with the elements as well. But the snake also speaks about shedding this outside skin and allowing yourself to be new. Live according to your divine essence. Let yourself out and see and speak these truths into the world without shying away from the fact that this is what you do. This is who you are. This is how you perceive things, because the world needs that fresh perspective. It really does. And then we have the black dragon from Saturn. Brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Concentrate. Focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself. You have passed a test. This Seven of Pentacles is a lot about focus. Decidueye is focused. But Decidueye gets focused, gets clear on where it's going, and then aims and goes. If you want this inspiration, you have to focus on healing yourself and giving yourself the things that you need. You have to be able to understand that you choose how you see things, how you perceive things, but nobody else gets to dictate how that goes. If you want to focus and flip things around on for how they've been in like the backwards world kind of thing, give to your inner child. Spend a super duper you and inner child day by getting more in touch with focusing on your inner child and what your inner child needs. Honestly, getting a coloring book and colored pencils is a really good way to cultivate more directed focus in your life. And that helps you to see the parts that you need to see, both shadows and light in yourself and in other people. If you're struggling to focus, you need to cultivate that focus. That way you're not looking in both directions. While I do see the benefit of this, it's this understanding that you can decide what skin you want to wear, what color you want to be the unicorn, be the unique one, but understand that it has to do with you and how you move forward. If you can't sorry guys. Like I just got distracted by snow falling outside my window. If you want to create magic in your life, focus on the magic that you want in your life, not on what you don't want. If you feel this need to shift your perspective, make sure that you're shifting your perspective in a way that is beneficial for you and not just because somebody else told you to. Remember who you are. Remember your own divinity. Remember the wisdom that you have learned on this journey. And allow yourself to step into the temple of the sun and really, really allow yourself to see the truth of who you are. And then give the world the truth through the mirror of who you are as well. Regardless of whether in the past you have felt attacked or unsafe or terrified, or like I'm getting like such fear energy here. That's not your life anymore. You're not that little kid anymore, but now you do need to give to that inner child to let your inner child know you're safe. You're safe to do the things that you want to do. You're safe to nurture this and nurture inspiration and creation and passion and creativity. You're safe to do this. You're safe to be a part of this kingdom of earth and spirit and touch into the elements and work with all of this. You're safe to do these things. So take the time to really cultivate that safety with your inner child and watch as your entire energy and demeanor changes the more you embrace the fact that you're both the zebra and the chameleon. So you can change colors, you can adapt to any situation, but you stay your absolute unique self throughout it. And the more that you nurture this and cultivate this within yourself and within your actions and creations in the outside world, the more that you live in alignment with who you are on a divine level, the more that you are able to focus on the things that you need to do for you rather than anybody else. Because this is about what you need, what your inner child needs. Okay. Pile 2. This is pretty incredible. I love this message. I want to say thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to your guides and mine for facilitating the connection between us. And I want to say thank you so much to Spirit for channeling these messages through and really bringing more awareness to the needs of the inner child for Pile 2 and helping them understand that what may feel like a curse is truly a gift given by you for their highest good. Thank you, Spirit. Pile 2, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box below, you will find links to my author page on Amazon, as well as links to donate to my channel if you feel so inclined, and and links to book a personal reading with me. Let us know in the comment section below that you're pile 2. Let us know how this resonated. And again, I want to say thank you to Cooper, and thank you to all of you guys for being so lovingly open and welcoming for both Cooper and Eliza when we do these collaborations, because I know my kids really love it. It's a really great way for me to teach them about their gifts and about how it feels to share their gifts with people who really are open to hearing them. And, you know, it helps me a lot because you guys are helping me and my kids heal generational karma. You're helping me teach them something that my parents didn't teach me. So I definitely want to say thank you. And I think I'm going to have to make a thank you video because I just got hit with like this wave of so much gratitude for what you guys are doing for me and my family by just embracing us and supporting this channel. So thank you very much. Genuinely, thank you. All right, you guys, I love you. I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Houndoom and Revelation, this is your message. So I know in the intro, I said that we were going to be getting messages, that Cooper was going to be doing messages about how to engage and play with your inner child. But instead, what he's going to do is he's going to take a look at the Houndoom. He's going to get in touch with the energies. And then he's going to bring forth a message about what this particular Pokemon is saying in terms of like a message from your inner child. It's kind of the energy of it. So, Bubba, why don't you tell them what you're picking up from this here Houndoom?
Well, with Houndoom, it's like a dog Pokemon. So I feel like this Pokemon is a pet towards you, and it respects you and listens to you. And it's like a army dog. It protects you.
So is that protecting the inner child then, or protecting the viewer?
It protects both.
So what is it protecting the inner child from? And why does the inner child need protection?
Well, say something bad happened to the inner child. Who would be there to protect that? Like to make sure they don't get hurt from that said danger.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there any other message for them about, what the Houndoom would want them to know? Or want their inner child to know? What their inner child would want them to know?
Always try to include some fun into something.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thanks, Bubba. All right, we're going to say bye to Cooper and we'll continue. Okay, and I just had to note that when I hit pause when Cooper left, it was literally 2:22 on the clock. So that's quite synchronistic. And then we're definitely gonna talk about this Houndoom. So Houndoom is Pokemon number 229, and it's considered a dark Pokemon. In this case, it's a dark and fire type. So as you can see, it looks kind of fierce, and the dark is denoted by like this purple shadowy energy around it. And it was introduced in Gen 2 for Pokemon. So it's a fairly, it's been around for a while, essentially. Houndoom has. In the mythology of the Houndoom, it's said that the howl of the Houndoom sends all other Pokemon and all people scurrying away in fear, as though they have just heard the voice of the Grim Reaper itself. Inside the Houndoom's belly, essentially, it has this poison within it that churns around and around and around. And as the Houndoom gets angry, this poison builds and builds and builds until it shoots out of it with a poison flame. And when the poison flame hits its enemies or anyone in the vicinity when it gets angry and shoots this out, it creates or causes wounds that are perpetually painful and consistently unhealable or continually unhealable. Houndoom, as well, is the leader of the pack, is denoted by the horns that are back like this. And this is a signifier of how this leader came to be chosen. And it's literally through fighting amongst the pack. Now, Houndoom being a fire type, it's weak to water. All of this energy, the reason why I'm going over something like a Pokemon card is because this is a direct translation of, as Cooper said, this isn't about your inner child. It's about what's blocking off your inner child. And your inner child needs you to understand this because it was likely created from a toxic environment, created from a place in which you did not feel safe. Now, with this revelation card on the other side, this is the card that is a calling for you to journey into other realms, journey into the Fey realms or the Elven realms. As a child, you likely were one of those very, very gifted children who could see beyond. I'm actually picking up something very similar to like the veil did not exist for you for many years of your life. And you would engage with these fae and the elves and sprites and like I'm seeing all sorts of like nature fairies and water fairies and like everything, all sorts of things, all different kinds of spirits. And I don't get that you ever really interacted with anything that would have been dark or scary, but it was your physical world that was dark and scary. And it was the mystical and the magical and the spiritual that was the safety. But over time, when you were a child, and guys, I have to preface this is what I am picking up from the cards, from the energy. If it's not your story, please don't try to make it fit. This is something that I am feeling is a calling for the collective of this pile to understand how it is impacting them right now, because we need to give you guys tools to move forward. So what I'm picking up from this is that as a child, your outside world was dangerous. The spiritual realm was your safety. But over time, the more that you would talk about your adventures in the outside, this makes so much sense. Okay, the more that you would talk about your adventures in the outside world, I'll explain. The worse the toxicity in your physical world became. This is, before I did your reading, I had to take a break. I had to take a nap. I had to eat something. I meditated for a while. I took a spiritual shower. I really, really needed to make sure that when I came here to this pile, that my energy was as clean, clear, and unclouded with anything other than what you guys need to hear today as humanly possible. As I was doing all of that, I tried to turn on the Disney Plus app on my TV because I was going to watch The Princess and the Frog, because I promised Eliza I would watch it. But we're in the middle of a snowstorm and the app wasn't working. Ironically, though, I can sit and have YouTube on my TV, and right now it's just like a black screen and it's shamanic drums. And I'm just like, my whole house sounds like I am having a shamanic drum circle, and it's phenomenal. But in my head, I'm going over Alice in Wonderland over and over and over again. And then I was thinking about Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which is the spinoff from the TV show Once Upon a Time, and about how Alice, in order to get to Wonderland in the beginning of that show, had to be broken out of a mental institution. And she was about ready to have a lobotomy because she was so exhausted and drained and sick of fighting to try to prove or be believed in a world where they wouldn't believe her for her experiences in Wonderland. And she had gone through the loss of her love in Wonderland, and it just was all too much for her to bear. She had decided to allow them to lobotomize her. Okay. The reason why this is so important, now I get it, because Houndoom is letting you know that there is a part of you, and it's your inner child, a part of you internally right now is being protected by this Houndoom. But the way in which it's being protected is so standoffish about the spiritual community, because over time, as you talked about your experiences, you shared them, and people told you that you were crazy, and people told you that you were wrong, and people told you that this is just make-believe, and that it's time for you to grow up and put your big girl panties or big boy panties on, or whatever they said, big boy pants or big girl pants on, and go out into the real world and be a real person, be a real adult, whatever it was, because that's the energy I'm picking up when I tap into this Houndoom, and it makes me so mad to touch that energy. Thinking about it, hearing these messages, feeling that energy, I feel physically ill. I feel physically nauseous. I feel so angry. Okay, so your inner child has aged this is going to be so crazy, but you guys know, if you're not new to my channel, if you are new to my channel, hey, what's up? Welcome. Get ready. If you're not new to my channel, you know that these kind of things go kind of haywire. So what I'm seeing here is that your inner child was meant to stay in a state of like 5 to 7 years old, because that's that golden age, that golden era of youthfulness, where you have the cognizance to create memories, to engage with the world, and to still be able to see and experience all of the spiritual realm. But you haven't gotten to the point where the physical world comes in and negates it too much. While there can be traumas and experiences from those ages, for the most part, those are the ages that, when I tap into inner children, those are generally the ages that I feel every time. When I tap into your inner child is utterly masked. It's masked. It's as though your inner child has aged itself intentionally out of the golden age frame, out of that golden time frame, has aged itself out of that in a protective measure, and then placed itself behind a wall, and there's a gate at the wall, and blocking the gate, much like it literally feels like the gates of hell, but not. Like, so bear with me, guys. It's like this is what your inner child created out of anger, pain, and fear. And there's Houndoom right there. Houndoom, who will look at an enemy, get pissed off at a boundary being broken, because anybody coming near your inner child is breaking a boundary. So bear with me, because if you're here, you've given me permission energetically. And I want you to understand that. And I am keeping my distance and respect, because when I touch that energy, I can feel how this responds. You may be someone who has been told you have anger issues. You may have been called cruel. You may have been called these things. You may have had moments where you have had outbursts, and then when you're done, you go, why did I say all those things? Can I undo the things that I've said? Can I undo the things that I did? And it's because this Houndoom energy sits there, and it sits there, and it waits, and it waits, and it waits. It waits to burst forth, because it expects someone to make it angry. It expects someone to lash out, to aim at it, and to take aim and try and get where it doesn't want it to be. Your inner child needs you to pour water on this. Essentially, water is its weakness. You know, fire and water don't blend together very well, but they can temper each other. They can temper each other. Fire can warm water up so that we have clean drinking water, so that we have a warm shower or a hot bath to cleanse our physical bodies. And alternately, water can put a fire out if it is blazing out of control. This is a need to bring in more emotions, deeper emotions, the watery depths of your emotions. It's time for you to see what lies underneath this anger and have this revelation that the anger is because nobody believed you. Nobody believed you. You experienced these things. You endured these things. You ventured in and had these adventures, and they were real. They were real because the spiritual realm and the spiritual experiences are real. No matter what anybody in this world will tell you, they are real. And you experienced these things, but no one believed you. And so you've been going about your life, putting your big boy or big girl pants on. And every time you come close to having one of these interactions, these revelations, these journeys into a deeper spiritual awareness, your alarm bells go off. And you're like, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. It's fear. It's fear and a fierce sense of injustice at what you endured as a child. And you're holding on to it now, which is preventing you from moving forward. Because if you can't let this go, which, and I'm not saying that it's impossible to move forward. I'm saying that if you can't let this go, if you can't allow yourself to find your deeper emotions beyond the anger, because anger is a really easy emotion, guys. It is. And I tell my husband this all the time. Like I get into these states where I go through something where I get hurt because I love so deeply. I care so deeply. And so I go through these states where I just genuinely, I get hurt so badly. And I sit here and I cry. Give me one moment. Hi, babe. I sit and I cry. Like I cry and I talk about it with my husband. I get all emotional and watery. I will. Okay. Hi, baby. She's like trying to eat my face. Say hi. Okay. I'm gonna go lay down? Yeah. Okay. No. I'm gonna go lay down. So I get into these emotional, watery states, and then I look at them and I say, I just wish I could be angry at this person. The people who hurt me, the people who use me, the people who think that I don't realize that they're using me. Like, I'm sorry, I do realize it. But I care about people. I care about people, and I'm an empath, and this is what I do, and this is who I am. And so I want to help people. And I get into these states and I just sob. I sob uncontrollably. Ugly tears, snot everywhere, hawking up loogies. Like, I know, guys, it's disgusting. So I get into these states and I do these things, and I look at him and I say, I just wish I could be angry. Because anger is an easier emotion. Anger is an easier emotion. It would be so much better, so much easier if I could just be pissed off instead of being so damn deeply hurt. Because when you're deeply hurt, you have to allow those emotions their rightful place and their rightful time to flow through you. You have to give them their acknowledgement, their credit, the depth and the breadth that they need to be experienced. So you have to give that water energy exactly what it needs. Oh, sorry, I gotta let Willow out. You've got to give that water energy exactly what it needs, what it's calling you to give to it. Because otherwise, oh my gosh. Are you guys my Murphy's Law pile? I bumped my knee and I was like, man alive. And then I was like, Oh, I feel that Murphy's Law energy. This is about knowing that the emotions that you have, the pain that you feel, and the injustice that you feel, it's a worthy emotion. All emotions are worthy emotions. No one gets to tell you that your emotions are wrong or that it's not right for you to feel what you feel. And going through things in the past, it can make you feel that way. You can be like, no, there's no time or place for that. So I've got to be fiery. I've got to be on it. I've got to be angry. I've got to be, in order for anybody to listen to somebody out on the streets crying about injustice or screaming about injustice or teaching about injustice, you have to be fiery. You have to be angry. No, because yes, I get that in the past, that's how revolutionaries have been, but this is not the past. This is a new time, a new age, and we have to learn how to do things in a new way. This revelation that is seeking to come in for you is how to really allow this energy to dissipate in order to bring your inner child back down to that golden time frame so that you can learn to move in a state of greater awareness, greater wonderment, and greater emotionality. Because I tell you guys what, as a parent, I have to say the range of emotions that a prepubescent child has is significantly more than we give them credit for. We intellectualize as adults, but they feel, they experience. And because of that, they have a more full experience of this world, of this life. We're meant to learn from them, not to negate that age frame. And for you especially, you can't, I want to tell you, you just can't keep going this direction. You can't keep going this way. You can't get angry and lash out. You can't. If you keep blocking your inner child off, you actually limit and restrict the amount that you can experience in this life. You can, I'm sorry, you absolutely can keep doing this. If you want, you can. Me as a reader, I'm telling you, I would not suggest continuing to move forward in a state where you lash out and lash against anything and everything that has any kind of mystical, magical, spiritual level or at any kind of injustice without incorporating the water energy to it. The amount that I feel like this Houndoom is representing the inner fight, the inner battle that you have had with yourself on the spiritual journey, and the ways it's been misrepresented, because I feel like it's an inner battle that you've been waging, not realizing that you've been waging it with your past. And that is the most fruitless battle you can ever wage, because you can't change the past. It's already happened. You can become aware of it. You can review it so that you can learn the lesson if you need to, but you're not meant to live there, and you're not meant to battle your past. You're meant to learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. I'm literally seeing Rafiki in my head with his staff beating Simba in the head, and Simba says, ow, that hurt. What did you do that for? And he said, why does it matter? He said something along the lines of, why does it matter? It's in the past. You can either run from it or you can learn from it. What are you going to do? So the more that you allow this anger and this poison to spew forth when you feel angry or threatened, you create these wounds because you do things that they're not true to you. And guys, I know that I tend to be like gentle and positive. I'm a super positive person. But if I'm reading an energy that is like, you don't realize the amount that you actually hurt other people because you're angry because of a sense of entitlement. it creates these wounds that can't be healed. You can't heal them because you're the one that caused them. And then it's left for the people to try and deal with the pain, to deal with the wounds when they don't understand that this is sourced from something that is no longer occurring. And when we hold on to the things that are no longer occurring, we give them power to continue to perpetuate the past cycles. We get stuck, we can't ever move on, and we can't ever live this full existence in this life. And the reason why I can be this blunt and brutally honest with you guys is because I got out of this cycle. I was in this cycle. I spewed this poison all over the place. I also was in a family that spewed this poison all over the place. So I've experienced both sides of this. It's not ideal. But it doesn't mean that you have to be that way. You can find a way to fight injustices in a different way. I will always tell it like it is. I will always tell you what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing when I am doing these readings. I will always be honest. And there are times where I do it and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm going to get attacked. Oh shit, how is this going to go? But you know what? I put that out there as a, like, I have to shift those mindsets every time I have them. But first of all, I shift them. But second of all, if this is what I'm called to read, this is the energy I'm feeling, if this is the imagery I'm getting, if this is the lesson and the awareness that I'm getting, I'm going to bring it forth. My number one rule in my house is don't lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I'm telling you like it is. I'm telling you how I'm reading this. I'm telling you this anger can be dissipated, but you have to get in touch with your emotional body far deeper. And you know what, guys? The Fae are real, and elves are real, and magic is real. And you can call me crazy, and the world could call me crazy, and I would just look at them and say, okay, that's great for you. But I experience life on another level, on another plane, on another existence. Don't you want to join me? Because I see magic in everything. I see beauty in everything. I see life in everything. I find spirit in everything, down to Pokemon cards. Wouldn't you want to experience that level of revelation and connection? Okay, I appreciate you guys enough. Let's get into your other cards. I did not see this going this direction, but pile threes, my pile threes are always a whole different level. And one big reason why I feel comfortable being this brutally honest with you guys is because for the most part, you guys understand that sometimes hard truths have to be told. And you guys know that I love you. So we're going to take a look at this. This is going to be what revelation you need. And this is going to be how to dissipate that fire. So let's dissipate the fire first. I feel like that's going to be more important. I knew it. I felt that. I wanted to say it and I didn't. We've got the High Priestess. Yeah, the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Wands. Essentially, cut through the bullshit in your mind, get in touch with your intuition and your divine feminine, and drop the weight of carrying the past on your shoulders, because that's literally what it is. You're carrying the past on your shoulders. And so if you want this energy to, and yes, I know if I feel like I have psychics in here, because I literally just picked up like a psychic message or telepathic message that was like, does she not realize that these cards can literally signify her telling us what to do? And yeah, I get that. But this is not about me. This is about you. So put yourself into these cards for a minute. Do you see that this is what you do? That, like the projection onto me here, that's you're not taking the ownership over your own psychic gifts and your own intuitive knowing and your own hidden wisdom. When you take ownership of that, you're going to have that clear cut, holy crap, this is what I can bring forth. This is how I can communicate. This is how I can cut through all the bullshit and bring forth the messages that are needed. This right here is how I can do that, because I'm embracing my divine feminine. I am embracing being softer. I am embracing being gentler. I am embracing being emotional. And I'm saying, I'm not going to keep carrying the weight of someone else on my shoulders, someone else's actions, someone else's reactions, someone else's fears, because that's what this is all sourced from. The fears of others that spawned during your childhood that you've been carrying with you for so long that you didn't even realize you were carrying other people's fears. And when you realize that it was other people's fears blocking you from your own psychic gifts and your own psychic knowing and intuition, then you can say, okay, but am I afraid of this? Like real, true, honestly, am I afraid of this? Ask yourself that. Am I really afraid of this? Am I afraid of what I know? Am I afraid of what I experience? Am I afraid of what I feel called to do? If you say, I am not afraid of it, but this person and this person, and how is this person? It doesn't matter the opinions of others. It doesn't matter the fears of others. It only matters how you feel about yourself, your gifts, your intuition, your psychic knowings. It's only about you. That's what you need to do. You need to put this flame out by asking yourself the truth of you, not of me, not of, your Susie down the street or, nosy Nancy next door or anything like that. And yes, I love using alliteration with these things. I read a lot of children's book and I've got kids. We do a lot of rhyming and alliteration. But you want to focus on how you feel. Because this is not about anybody else. It's about you. Your mentality, your mindset, your emotions, and how you engage with these things, that is what actually determines this life for you. So you can continue to carry the burdens and the fears of others, or you can drop them and say, I'm going to cut this all off here because I know that it's not mine anymore. Get that clarity through getting in touch with your inner child, your inner wisdom, your inner intuition, and let your inner child really have the reins to be like, this is why I've been in this state, and this is why I do this, and this is why it manifests outwardly as you doing it. And let's heal this. Let's move through this. Let's do this. So let's see your revelation. We have the Page of Coins, the Hanged Man, and Temperance. Okay. This is literally about the physical world. It's about shifting your perspective about you in the physical world, about whether or not it's childish to believe in these things. Literally, there are reindeer on this card, and it's like, it's kind of like, okay, we don't have to believe in Santa Claus, but can we not believe in like the magical aspect of it? Can we not shift our perspective to see that this world that we live in actually is that mystical and that magical, that there actually are experiences that can be that magical? Can you shift your perspective? Willingly go into a state of shifting your perspective to have this revelation so that you can see how gifted, how talented, how skilled you are, how capable you are of creating such a beautiful life for yourself. How much you have alchemized from your past, and how the past doesn't have to have a hold on you, because the past does not exist. It doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is this absolute present moment. We create the future in each and every present moment. So if you want a future in which you are not angry and you are not reactive, then you create a present moment where you give yourself the cleansing, nurturing, calming, soothing, watery emotions that you need to have to temper down the fire and the anger and the poison that comes out when you're in that state. All right, let's take a look at your oracle cards. Dragonfly, Spirit, and Change. I love when the cards are like, yeah, let's do this. We have Kangaroo, be a force for good. Archangels Roquiel, Garcisa, And Sandalphon, I don't know who Rockwell and Garcissa is. I have no idea. But Kangaroo, be a force for good. Instead of spewing that angry poison that creates wounds that can't be healed, be a force for good. Move from the heart. Move from this level of revelation and awareness. Change the perspective. Change the way you do this. Change how you come forth into the world. Change this. We've got a 12 and a 12, guys. Like, this is powerful energy saying it's time for a change. You can do this. This change is right for you. You can change this storyline. It's literally up to you. You can change what you carry because it's not for you to carry. You can do this. And when you do this, you can be a force for good while still fighting injustices, fighting for the underdog, fighting for all of those people who were never believed. Just like you. You have a unique perspective in order to do this now. That's how you come forth into the world. That's why I do what I do here, because I have learned and now I am bringing all my lessons forth. That's why the energy is always so resonant, because it's something that I understand because I experience it. I say so often, there's very little that you can say, well, have you experienced this? I will tell you some way in which I've experienced most things. Most things I have gone through. It's not fun. I would not wish the level of experiences I have gone through on many people, because it's taken me hell and high water to get through. I've hurt people in the process. I have been hurt in the process. I have carried burdens that weren't mine to carry, and I have had to learn how to find this clarity, cut away the things, the people, the places, the experiences that weren't for me to carry with me anymore. I have had to learn how to stop living in the past. I have had to learn how to be open to receiving. I have had to learn so many things, and I've had to do it alone. And so I come forth and I do this. And if I can be an example for you, in whatever way I am an example for you, then I'm doing my job, in my opinion. What you need to see is that you can do this too. You can make these changes. You can make these changes into a new perspective of yourself and your gifts, and understanding that you are meant to do this, that you are innately attuned to this. Just like hop right into your future. Everybody loves a kangaroo. I don't know who doesn't love a kangaroo. And I have the feeling that I'm going to have like that one person who comments in the comment section below and is like, yeah, I hate kangaroos. Good on you, but I'm sorry. Roo was totally my favorite from Winnie the Pooh when I was a kid. Seriously, totally loved Roo the most. All right. And then, oh, yes. Kuan Yin's pink dragon brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. Abso-freaking-lutely. I want you to understand the way that I came forth in this reading to you guys is literally how I view firm love. It's what I call hard truths, but it's still firm love. You can literally drop everything that you feel is so karmic that is on your shoulders. You feel like you're carrying all this karmic burden, and you are, because you're choosing to carry someone else's karmic burden. You're choosing to carry someone else's fears. When you realize that the fears that you're holding on to are not yours, the level of freedom that you gain from that, the amount that you are able to see spirit, to experience spirit once more, and to feel all that unconditional, transcendent love just flooding into you, that in and of itself is enough to shift your perspective into this understanding that you are this divine being alchemizing so much, but you don't have to keep carrying other people's karma. This is a day and age and time right now in the collective where we're not meant to carry someone else's karma. We are not meant to do it. And I know this because I was just put through this lesson. I was put through this lesson as a parent with a child, where I had to actually see a spiritual higher level of what was going on and say, I cannot carry the burden of her karma and her decisions anymore, because it will set me back. And if I get set back, then everyone here who has gained any help from any of my readings never would have gotten it. Never would have gotten it. I actually made a video about this where it was the let's talk, come back and I think it was come back, step up and lead. This right here is you going through that lesson that I have already taught. And maybe I didn't make it clear in that video, but the truth of the matter is that had I swooped in and taken care of the situation for her, it would have become a situation in which I was entangling myself in a karmic lesson based off of personal decisions that had nothing to do with me. It had to do with her. I would have been entangling myself, trapping myself, my mentality, my energy, and my emotions into this toxic situation that was not for me to do. As a mother, it is one of the absolute hardest things I have done. Absolute hardest things I have done. And there are still times where I have to review it, allow those mentalities to flood through, and then actively, perpetually shift my perspective out of a state of carrying the burdens of someone else, because it was not my decision. They were not my actions taken, and therefore the consequences are not for me to bear. You need to understand the magnitude of this. And so I want you to think, if you feel resonance with this energy, if you have been on my readings over the past 3-4 months, if you have gained insight, wisdom, clarity, if you have started making changes in your life, if you have seen growth in your life, in your emotions, in your personal endeavors, if you feel like you have taken steps because I have given you some sort of advice that you already knew you needed, but you just needed that outside confirmation, if you have received anything of benefit from me in the past 3 to 4 months, know 100% it's because this lesson was integrated for me. And I am standing here to lead by example. And this is what you need to do for yourself now, for your inner child now. Your inner child needs you to lead by example. Your inner child needs you to prove that, no, I won't carry this anymore. Your inner child needs you to reconnect with the faith. Your inner child needs you to reconnect with the spiritual realm. Your inner child needs you to reconnect deeper with the animals, the plants, the mystical, the magical. You need to reconnect with the things that you believed when you were a child, because what you believed when you were a child are your truths and not the fears of others. Okay, pile 3. I did not expect your reading to go this long. I'm not even sorry, because when Spirit wants to bring a message forth, Spirit really brings a message forth. All right. I want to say thank you so much for being here. I really love you guys. I send you guys so much love, so much like positive energy, healing energy. We're still in November. I am still channeling Reiki for all of these. I should probably announce it in all of my videos, but it's become second nature for me to just flow it through. But I do want you guys to know, like, I am so grateful for you. I am grateful for what you are enduring, what you have endured, and what you will move forward into from here, because I believe in you to drop this and to move forward in a state that leaves the past in the past. I believe in you to do that. I believe that there will be amends made, and I believe that there will be healing done in your life and others. I believe this. For you, I will hold the candle for you until you take it for yourself. Thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to your guides and mine for facilitating the connection between us. Thank you so much, Spirit. I know I can feel how needed these messages were. And I really, truly, truly am honored to be the one to channel these messages, for the filter to go through me, for the experiences that have tested me, that have tried me, that have pushed me, that have broken me and had me build myself back up, that those are the ones that I get to use to help other people. So that out of all of those dark places and shadows and pains, all good things come from it, so that we can all learn to be a force for good. I am so, so grateful for the work that we do together here for the collective. I am so grateful. And I am so grateful for pile 3. So thank you, Spirit. Pile 3, if this resonated, you guys know the YouTubey things. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. If you guys need to work through some anger and you want someone to resonate with, check out my book, Something Spiritually Catchy. I wrote that in a state of rage. Spiritual rage, spiritual injustice, and spiritual rage. That's when I wrote that book. It was about different spiritual leaders and friends who screwed me over, and the justice system that screwed me over, and how my medical health was just trash. And I had to literally just rely on myself in spirit. And I had the feeling that that book would really help you guys. It is available on Amazon. Check the links in the description box for my Amazon author page. There are also links to donate to my channel and links to book a personal reading if you guys are interested. And let me know in the comment section below. You know what? Give me like some sort of empowerment, something or other, like a, I don't know, like the fist. Like I think there's like an arm fist, like, I don't know, showing muscles or something. I don't do a lot of emojis anymore. But I think there's like a super empowered fist of some sort. Give me one of those and tell me that you are living for you, that you're not going to live for the fears of others. You're going to live for you and be a force for good in whatever way you feel comfortable saying it. All right. Pile 4 or 3. Wow. Pile 3. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys here. I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you so much love. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. Hi, Pile 4. So we have a little bit of a lag delay with the camera, just so you guys know. And Cooper and I are in the throes of arguing about Lugia. And
it's a normal type bird.
It's a legendary.
Yes, but this means normal. It is a legendary, but this also means normal. So it's a normal legendary bird.
Can I eat your ear?
No.
Why not?
Because
you taste like chicken. All right, Pile 4. So I know that we said that Cooper was going to talk to you. Do like this. Then Cooper was going to tell you guys about how to play with Lugia. But instead what he's going to do is bring forth messages from Lugia, whether Lugia is something associated with your inner child or carrying the messages from your inner child. We'll see. It just depends on how Cooper does his channeling. So, dude, what is Lugia saying and in regards to their inner child?
Well, I have this show that I watched. Pokemon Journeys. Mm-hmm. And actually one of the first episodes, Lugia is in it, and it actually speaks to the trainer Ash and Hop.
How does Lugia speak to Ash and Hop, though?
It's a very...
Do you know what it's called?
It's kind of like echolocation, except humans can make out what it's saying.
Telepathy.
Oh.
Yep. I Googled that.
Oh. Well, yeah. It talks to them, and they get to actually ride on Lugia's back and see how it functions. And Lugia says something about that they are gonna master Ash's goal is to be a Pokemon master, and Hop's goal is to catch one of every kind of Pokemon, including Mew. And Lugia says, like, follow your dream and anything can happen. And this is a weird Pokemon because most normal types are actually weak to fighting. But since it is a normal flying type, it's weak to electric. It's when it takes damage from fighting, it does less damage than what it actually does.
So then the question is the Lugia representing the inner child with the message to Ash and Hop?
I really don't know. It may be, it may be not.
What do you feel about Pile 4's inner child then?
That it's very energetic.
Mm-hmm.
And that you soar above the people that have challenged you.
Okay. Did you want to take the card with you?
No, I'll leave it here until the end of the pile.
All right, thanks, baby. Say bye to Cooper. Bye, Coop. All right, Pile 4. I kind of thought that he was going to go off on a tangent because he's not wrong about the energy. As soon as he came in and the channel opened up for both of us, the energy is it's very energetic. It's very upbeat. It's very lifted. And I love that for you guys and with you guys because see, Lugia here, like he said, it's a normal type in this card specifically, but Lugia is traditionally a psychic and a flying type. And he does communicate through telepathy. And the episode that he saw, Pokemon Journeys, is actually such a beautiful thing because when Lugia was introduced in Gen 2, I believe it was, pretty sure it was Gen 2. But when Lugia was introduced, he was the quote-unquote mascot of Pokemon Soul Silver, which relates to the moon and the lunar energy and the causal chakra energy. The causal chakra energy, which is divine consciousness, Christ consciousness, it's divine feminine energy, receptivity, it's attunement and alignment to the moon and the moon's cycles, which is something that I have talked about several times. It's also something that I work with rising sign messages. But Lugia also represents the sea and storms. Lugia is said to be the guardian of the sea, and it is one half of the tower duo with Ho-Oh being the heart and skies and Lugia being the seas and storm. With these tower duos, it's the Lugia is the brass tower and Ho-Oh is the bell tower. And every time that I think about that, it feels very much like the moon card in tarot with the two towers. And it's these two beasts. And they both are masters of trios. Lugia is the master of the trio of legendary birds. And he's the only one who can stop or quell the fighting when these birds begin to battle with each other. Ho-Oh, on the other hand, is the leader of the legendary dogs, I believe it is. But the thing about Lugia is that Lugia tends to live out of sight, deep down under the sea, at the bottom of the ocean. And this is because Lugia's wings have such great power that even the simple fluttering of those wings can cause damage. One big whoosh of the wings can cause a storm for up to 40 days. Like, when I tell you guys that there's so many spiritual lessons that are tied to something like Pokemon, for a bird to be able to bring on a storm for 40 days. I'm just saying, like, we're getting into almost like biblical references here. If you didn't grow up religious, then I apologize for making it seem like I was just assuming this, but Lugia can control the weather, and by control the weather can either bring about calm or bring about a storm. And it depends on what Lugia wants to do. A very highly intelligent bird. Because of the high intelligence, Lugia isolates itself out of a conscious awareness of the destructive nature of his own power. It is extremely rare and hardly ever seen. And that's why I said it's so beautiful for Cooper to have watched Pokemon Journeys. And the very first episode he watched had Lugia in it in such a positive way. Because this really talks about how your inner child, you may have felt in childhood as though you had all of this energy contained within you, and nobody wanted nobody really, God, I'm having a hard time explaining it. Nobody really wanted you around necessarily, because you were probably, like, what I'm getting is, I'm actually being shown images of myself as a kid so that I can relate it. And it just feels so, like, it's a time frame that I used to actually weep for, like, my younger self during those times. Winifred. Sorry, guys. Winifred was ringing the doorbell. Just because she was too much. She, like, I had a fourth grade math teacher who unsuspectingly did a experiment with me with pencils, where he would drop the pencil during a test, and I would get up and I'd pick the pencil up, put it back on his desk, go sit down, continue with my test. And he did that like 3 or 4 times. And so during parent-teacher conferences, he talked to my mom about the fact that he had done this. And he had done this without her permission. He had done this without talking to me about it. Like, it just was like something he's like, I wonder. And so I sat in that parent-teacher conference and listened to him tell my mom that I had a disorder, that I had ADHD clearly, and had a problem sitting still. And in my mind, I was like, my teacher dropped his pencil. I'm sitting right where the pencil is falling. I picked the pencil up and put it on the desk. I did something kind for my teacher, and I'm being told that I have a disorder, that there's something wrong with me for what I'm doing. It left a lasting scar. And because of that, I withdrew a lot of my energy from a lot of things in a lot of ways. I stopped being who I was back then because I had too much. That is what I feel with this Lugia energy. It's as though you are too much. And, you know, the difference between Lugia and Ho-Oh now, Ho-Oh is the rainbow, it's the sun, and Lugia is the moon in the darkness, and Lugia has to hide away because his power is too strong, whereas Ho-Oh can be out and in the sunshine and interacting with the world all the time. There can be this vast contrast, and that's what I was getting with this Bliss card, which talks about the golden sun and rainbow and soul appreciation, and versus what the outside world says and what items or labels the outside world says you're worthy of. It's like you can isolate because you're afraid of your power, because you're afraid the world won't accept you, because you're terrified of whatever could happen. Or you can embrace who you are and learn to work with the energy that you have and the power that you have in the way that feels right to you. There is this legend that comes with Lugia that on nights of really big storms, Lugia will emerge from the bottom of the ocean and you will be able to find him in the skies. And I got this image of the scene in Twilight where they go and play baseball up in the mountains and they have to wait for a thunderstorm because when they hit the ball with the bat, it sounds like thunder. And I got to thinking about how with Twilight, when they became vampires, their strength, the way that their skin was in the sunlight, the way that they had to train themselves to be able to be around people without eating them, you know, the things that they had to endure to kind of temper themselves down, they found a balance for when they were by themselves. You may have felt better when you were alone than when you were around other people. But in a big way, you guys have so much energy and so much drive and determination and dreams and hopes and ideas and creativity just bursting at the seam, but your inner child is so afraid of connection right now. So afraid of connection. And your inner child is afraid of connection, understandably so, because if you grow up hearing all the time, you're too much this, you're too much that, you're disordered, you're not right, this, and this, all you want to do is be alone because obviously all you do is cause destruction for other people. It's a horribly, horribly, painfully distorted perception. It's awful. And I seriously want to wrap my arms around your inner child because your inner child is like that feral cat that you find at the end of a dead-end street where you look at this feral cat and you see how beautiful it is and how worthy of love it is. And you reach a hand out and all it can do is fight back and try and hide out of fear. Fear because of being abandoned, fear because of being left alone, fear because of being unseen, unworthy, unheard, unloved. And your inner child is in this energy and asking you to essentially control the weather, bring about a storm so your inner child can come out. Because your inner child has a lot to say and a lot to do. Teach your inner child what it's like to shine. Balance the aspects of yourself out with showing your inner child that there is a safety in being able to come up out of the depths and to shine in the world. Even the moon shines. The moon shines brightly in the sky a lot of the time. It is safe for you to come out and to allow that childlike nature to come out of you, but you have to cultivate a relationship with your inner child. You have to nurture your inner child. Right now, what your inner child needs is to know that it is safe to come out and that it isn't too much. That he or she, however you identify your inner child energy as, is not too much. That it is safe. It's safe to bring your childlike nature out, to bring your inner child out into the world, into connections. It's safe for you to open yourself up to true connections. And if you don't feel ready to do that yet, then nurture this relationship with your inner child because your inner child is more than ready to learn what it's like to have true friendship, true love, true family, true commitment, true dedication. And it only comes from you being true to your inner child first and foremost. So this is how your inner child is asking you to engage. And this is how you can take what's being asked of you and apply it. So we have the Eight of Swords. Oh my God. Strength and the Page of Cups. Seriously, the Page of Cups to me is literally the inner child energy. It's like the energy of all the possibilities and potentialities in the world. It's the card of when pigs fly is the Page of Cups. So your inner child is literally asking you to take it out. Like exactly what I just said. Bring me out of the cave. Show me that I don't have to be stuck. Show me that I don't have to be afraid. Show me that my strength is not too much. It's not too much. It's exactly what is needed. Show me that I can be both strong and wondrous. Please show me that I don't have to be afraid. Some of you may have had a pet rabbit as a child. Rabbit as a child. I was going to say rabbit, but rat came out, so that could apply for both. But your inner child really, really wants you to understand that you're the one that has the ability to free your inner child by showing the love for both of these aspects. There is such a beauty and strength in engaging in your intuition, but also in engaging in your imagination. And that storm energy that I feel with you guys, that really uplifting, really high energetic stuff, that's your inner child that wants to be out. That's why I felt that right away in the beginning, because your inner child was like, oh, somebody's going to see me. Somebody's going to talk. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And in the past, you might have been called like an eager puppy, because I just heard the words eager puppy. And at the same time, when someone, says something like that, you take it so personally that you shut that part of yourself away. You're not meant to do that. You need to see the beauty in who you are at the essence and the core of who you are. And I see it. So very much I see it. So let's see what you can do practically. We have the 3 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. When you engage with your inner child, the pains and the lack is going to just disappear. Like literally, how do you overcome the heartache and the feeling of lack and being left out in the cold? Use your imagination. Get creative. Get inventive. You don't have to live in this state anymore. Connect with others. Connect with spirit. Connect with your inner child. Look how strong you are. You literally have the strength. You have the strength to pull yourself out of anything. Your inner child has the strength to pull you out. You need to let your heart heal and see that it isn't anything that you're lacking. You're not disordered. I just keep hearing you're not disordered. You're not wrong. You're not broken. You were never wrong as a kid. You were never too much as a kid. And it doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. Like this 3 of Swords, literally screaming in agonizing pain. Screaming in horrible heart-based pain. Take your pain, take your feeling of lack, and create something monumental with it. Harness all of that energy, all of that energy that people told you was too much, that energy that people said was disordered, that energy that people said was this or that or whatever. Take all of that energy and harness it and create your bliss state, because creation is your blissful state. Create it. Appreciate what you have within you. Appreciate the very soul, the very essence of who you are. Appreciate your inner child, because that will break you free. You're not meant to stay trapped in the past, in the pains of the past. You guys may have been called to another pile, I'm just saying. But you guys are not meant to be trapped in this pain. And your inner child does not want you in it anymore. Like your inner child is literally like, I'm going to break you free of this. If you open up to this, let me flap my wings. Let me create this storm. I don't even need 40 days. Give me 3, give me 5, give me 1. Let me create this storm, because I'm going to create this storm inside of you. And this storm inside of you is going to kick up everything that you need to get rid of. It's going to kick up all of these pieces that you feel you don't contain, that you don't see is being offered to you because you're so stuck in focusing on this anguish and this pain that was put on you from the past, but the past is over and you can't change it. You can't undo it. You can't redo it. All you can do is move forward from here. Harness the strength that you have. Let that feral nature come out of you. And just, it's such a crude way of saying it. I just heard go balls to the wall and cleanse your life. Cleanse your mind, cleanse your heart, cleanse your soul. Start appreciating yourself 100%. It doesn't matter what you have around you. It matters who you are and what you have within you. And you have this amazingness within you. You have this within you. And your inner child really wants you to literally, I'm literally seeing your inner child like, give me an entire day to just clean the house. Give me an entire day to just do this and do that. When I was a kid, I used to, and even as an adult, I channel energy through home design, I guess is what you would call it as an adult, interior design, whatever. But I would move furniture. I'd rearrange furniture. And I would jumble everything up. And then I'd stand in a room with everything jumbled, everything just a complete and utter disaster. And I'd stand there and I would stare into the room, stare at the walls, stare at the furniture. And I would wait while the chaos was churning. I would wait it out, observe, and then allow for the energy to settle into a creative mode. And then I would rearrange the room. And I've put my office in a different way. I have put my bedroom in like 4 or 5 different arrangements, which is crazy because we've got a king size bed. I have rearranged the living room and the family room downstairs that we have multiple times. I've rearranged the basement office multiple times. It's something I do. It shifts energy, but it's something that I need to help keep my inner child happy. You have something similar to this within you. It may not be moving furniture because I'm literally seeing like dusting or like color coding things. That actually explains. I've never been drawn to color code my closet, like my clothes that are hanging in the closet until this week when I was prepping for this reading. That makes more sense. That thanks, Spirit. But do something like that. As you do that, let the mess be a mess. Let the chaos be there because chaos breeds creativity if you allow it. You guys may be Aquarius risings or Aquarius sun or moons because there's some Uranus energy here. A lot of Uranus energy because it's literally that chaos. Chaos breeds creativity. It was an utterly chaotic time in my life that brought me to where I'm at now. And a lot of times when I do these readings, it feels like I'm in nothing but a state of chaos. I feel like I'm drawn to 18 different different card sets and decks and whatever. And I'll have readings where I'll set it up and then everything gets jumbled up and it becomes chaos, but it becomes chaos because of the energy that needs to be shifted. And sometimes you need chaos for creativity. For you guys in particular, that's something that's being called here. This is how you engage. Create chaos, create some sort of destructive energy so that you can recreate, so you can find your clarity, find your peace, find your path, find your inspiration, find your willow branch, I just heard. So a willow branch, you cut it off and you plant it and it grows into its own tree on its own. Find your willow branch, find that cutoff from everything in the past and replant yourself and grow into a new tree. but you have to create some sort of destruction first. And your inner child knows exactly what needs to be destroyed. So if you allow for your inner child to come out and show you, just trust yourself here. Trust yourself. Let your inner child lead you to whatever chaos needs to be created so that you can create from that chaos something new. So let's take a look at the cards. We have Spirit Guardian of Winter Retreat. It's literally like, this is what it looks like outside. This retreat card, I don't know if I just said it. I can't remember, but I literally got this like going internal and getting connected with your inner child in a meditation. But it's not like a guide. Like I'm not seeing you do like a guided meditation on YouTube or anything like that. I'm actually seeing you choosing to guide yourself. There's something about trusting yourself here more than anything. So guide yourself into a state where you really get in touch with your inner child. This winter season, not phase, but season is what I'm picking up. This winter season, which is funny because it's already started where I'm at, but winter season for you, wherever you are at, whether you're in the southern or northern hemisphere, and whenever you see this, because this is a timeless reading, the winter season is the time to do this chaos. It's the time to connect to this chaos because you're going to break yourself free. You're going to break your inner child free. Call upon this dragon of bliss, the golden dragon of bliss, to help ease this. Because this is a lot of fear. It's like fear because you were made to be the asshole. Forgive my language, but that's what came through. All right. Do that during the winter. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overanalyze. Last winter, I actually did this. I scrapped an entire YouTube channel that I had been working on for 6 months, like literally deleted the channel itself. I still have the video saved on one of my hard drives, but the channel is gone. And then I deleted my podcast, and then I deleted my blog that I had been working on for like a year for both of those. I got rid of them. And then I deleted friendships. And that was chaos because I was working on myself. And it was in working on myself and creating all of this chaos and all of this destruction in my life that I realized what was and was not right for me. And in doing so, I came into this understanding of the way that certain friends in my life have come in and literally run a train through my heart and my mentality. They have put me in these energies. So last winter, when Venus was in retrograde in Capricorn, I literally worked on myself. And that was the start of me coming to realize that me choosing myself was not something that a lot of people that I was connected to at that time were openly accepting because I wasn't giving to them. And it led to a lot of destruction because I had to cut a friend off. And then I had to deal with a stalker because that friend turned into a stalker. And then I got reconnected with other friends. And then those friendships fell away. And all of it was literally teaching me about my own personal value and standards and what is okay for me in friendships and what isn't. For you, this may not be about friendships. It may be about love. It may be about family. It may just simply be about work or about yourself, like what is and is not acceptable for you. But take the time away to do this. It was the most terrifying thing in the world for me to be like, okay, I am not going to post anything. I'm not going to create anything. I am literally going to go and discover myself. I was terrified. And then when I got to a point where I was like, I think I'm ready to start creating again, I had to start all over from square one. And that's how I started with this channel. The first video that I posted on this channel was back in September of 2021. And then I didn't post again until I think I did a couple of little like shorts or something like that in the beginning of January. But it wasn't until mid to late January that I really started doing readings here of 2022. And this was after I had destroyed pretty much every other creative avenue I had taken because I just couldn't keep going down these avenues that weren't right for me. And if they are right for me, then it wasn't the right time for them. I needed to create distraction. This winter card, even if you feel like you're in a winter phase at some point and the weather outside is not frightful. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Even if you're in a winter phase in life and say like it's summertime and you're like, nope, I'm in a winter phase. Take the time to retreat. Don't overanalyze or overcomplicate the things that you have going on in the outside world because they are not more important than you are. You and your healing and your mentality and your state of mind and what is right for you, that matters far more than constant creativity. It really does. So let's see what we have. We have llama. Oh my God, you guys. Set clear boundaries and enforce them. Archangel Shamuel. This right here, this is why you need to retreat. Because your boundaries need to be reestablished. You need a line in the sand. This is where I'm at right now. Okay. I emailed another creator because I had channeled an idea and I was like, would you like to do a collab with me? And she's like, I'm really busy right now. Check back with me during this time. And I was like, awesome. Great. And then I heard from other creators about doing collabs. I haven't responded yet because I'm going, I got to look at my schedule. I got to do what's right for me. I have this and this and this. I'll answer them when I'm ready. That's not who I used to be. I did not used to be the person that was like, I'm not going to answer this until I'm ready. I would have been the person that was like, freak out for 5-10 minutes, call my husband, freak out for 5-10 minutes on the phone with him, and then make some hasty, rash decision. Likely people pleasing. But I took the time to retreat and do what I needed to do for myself. I retreated from all of my connections, save for like my family. But I mean, it's family. And by family, I do my children and my husband. I literally retreated from my extended family as well. Because I needed to find my boundaries and find what is and is not okay with me. And say, this is what my boundaries are. These are what my limits are. These are what I will and will not accept in my life. And so for me to get these messages and to sit here and go, okay, I'm going to take the time that I need to take for me because I have all of these different things going on, but I'm not going to people please. It's a huge step. It's a big step. This is something that your inner child really needs. Your inner child is tired. Your inner child is tired of being trapped, tired of being locked up, tired of not being able to create, tired of feeling this pain and this lack and this ignorance from other people about what you need. But you have to give it to yourself first. This is what you need. You need to give to yourself first. When you do that, then you know what it is that you will and will not accept. And when I look at this llama, it's literally about the reflectionary principle. What will you accept? What will you accept? If somebody is reflecting back to you a version of yourself you don't like, then you say, that is not who I am. I do not accept this. This is my boundary. If someone is asking you to do something and it doesn't feel right to you, but you don't want to disappoint them, say, you know what, this just doesn't feel right. It's not something that is right for you. Boundaries are so important. And if you don't feel ready to be very firm with the boundaries that you have and say, these are my boundaries, period. You cannot change them. This is what they are. If you're not ready for that, then it is a time for you to retreat, to go within, and to see why you feel like you have to hide yourself away, the true nature, your true strength away from the world. And it comes down to your inner child who can be very headstrong, but that's a good thing. Headstrong in this day and age is a good thing, because when you're headstrong and you know your boundaries and you know your worth and you know what you're here to do and you know that you're coming from the heart, being headstrong means that your heart and your head are aligned. It means that nobody is going to get their own mentality into yours. No one is going to manipulate you. And when you get to that stage, that level of empowerment, I'm in that level of empowerment right now. I see directly through the manipulations that I've had some very subtle manipulations from an old friend lately. Like, this is what I've been talking about in my readings, where I'm like, it feels like Mercury retrograde right now with Mars retrograding in Gemini. Because I've had friends coming back from the past, and it's very subtle manipulations. It's very subtle manipulations, and it's manipulations I wouldn't normally catch, but in the past would have triggered me to people please and to respond, and it didn't work. I didn't do it this time. I did not respond how I would have in the past. I was not an eager beaver. I was not an eager puppy. I was me. Clear-cut boundaries. For this pile in particular, this is something that you are ready to get into. Your inner child needs you to do this. So it's okay to take a step back from things. People, places, situations, take a step back and say, you know what? I need this for me. I'm going to do this for me. And when I do this for me, I'm going to heal my inner child. I'm going to let my inner child out, like Max from Where the Wild Things Are, and let my inner child play. Let my inner child destroy. Let my inner child create. Let my inner child befriend all the little monsters in the head that have been telling me I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, I am always doomed for this and doomed for that, and say, you know what? Screw all of that. I am successful. I am lovable. I am loved. I am everything I need. I am divinely connected. I am divinely supported. I am divinely protected. I am strong. I am capable. I am creative. I am amazing. I am brilliant. And you say those things. And the thing is you don't have to put it on repeat and make it an affirmation, because it is simply your truth. You are perfect exactly as you are. You are whole, confident, strong, resilient, harmonious, blessed, loved, rich, psychic, happy. You are powerful. You are chosen. And you say these things. I am these things. I am this strong. I am loved. I am productive. I am imaginative. I am creative. I am an inventive. I am all that I need. I am seen. I am heard. I am blissful. I am appreciated. And you say these things over and over, and these are your boundaries. If someone does not reflect that back to you, you say, okay, I respect that you have your own opinion, but your opinion and your take is not mine. These are what I am. And if you can't meet me halfway, if you can't meet me at the table with this, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to retreat from you, because I know my worth. I know my value. And you do this. And know that you have the strength to do this. You guys may have been people pleasers for most of your life and not know how to do this, but you can do this. You can, you will, you are strong enough to do this. Let's take a look at this last one. Crystal Yellow Dragon opens you to higher learning and wisdom. Expand your crown chakra for illumination. Walk the higher spiritual path. I have to tell you guys, a higher spiritual path, because we've got this crystal yellow dragon, we've got bliss, and this is very sun energy, plus the Ace of Wands here. This is you stepping into your power, into your creative power, because we've got oranges and yellows. Again, you may have been drawn to another pile. I'm getting that energy really strong. I'm not going to tell you which pile because some of you were not. And do not make it fit, please. This is a boundary. Don't make it fit. If you genuinely were like, I'm going to choose pile 4 because I like Lugia, because I like the look of the bird, because of this, that, or whatever, or because it's the number 170 and 170 is my favorite number, or 17 is my favorite number, whatever it was that drew you into pile 4. If you were not drawn to another pile, don't go to it. If you were, go to it. But this is about your solar plexus and your sacral chakra coming together and creating the life that you desire, but you have to have boundaries and know your worth. And your inner child needs this. So don't be afraid to retreat, to step back from friendships if you need to step back from friendships. For one of you in this pile, and I can feel your energy and I know who you are because I know you personally, I want to tell you that what you decided to do when you retreated from people was absolutely the right thing because it was keeping you in this and you are now in this. And you get to be a shining example. And I know that the person that I'm talking to is going to know who it is because I recognize your energy personally. And that's the beautiful thing. I'm going to start. It's such a beautiful thing. But here's the thing. Here's the even better thing. I just addressed one person in this group. I genuinely want each and every one of you that watches this pile to go down and just simply put in the comment section pile 4. And I'm telling you, this is not because I want the comments and the support. I do, like, guys, of course I do. But I want you to see how many people say pile 4. Each and every person that said pile 4, I want you to think about whether or not I was addressing you. If it felt like it resonated, then realize that there are all these people doing the exact same thing. Which means each and every one of you are learning this lesson right now. And each and every one of you have now heard how worthy you are. You guys, in this community, one of the things that I really want is for you guys to learn how to lean on each other during these times, to understand that each pile is a collective. There are some of you who are drawn to other piles. And that is because they're crossover energies and it helps bridge from pile to pile. You guys become the bridges from each pile. This community has the potential to redefine what communities look like on the internet. That's a dream, a goal, a wish of mine, is to use my spiritual gifts and my creativity to redefine what we keep saying has to be the case. Readers don't have to be withdrawn and hide away because there are so many scammers if all of us stay on the same page and communicate with each other, then the scammers that come in, literally everyone goes after. Like, we all call out the same thing. We are a united front. Each pile, if you guys go and comment down below and actually choose to trust spirit on this one, that you're all going through the same thing, imagine the words of kindness that can give you that boost forward. Just simply words of kindness. Random acts of kindness are so important in this world, and we keep forgetting about that. So we can give to each other in this way. And the best part about it is you guys genuinely support my channel in that way. But you're more giving yourself support That's what I want. I want this to be an equal give and take, a reciprocity thing, but not just for me with you as a viewer, but you and everybody else in the piles that you choose. This is something that your inner child is helping you learn. I believe in you, pile 4. You will come through this. You will get over this. And this energy right here, this right here, these 3 cards are alleviated with the other 3 cards. I almost did this and switched the cards up and put cards together so that there would be 2 of these and 1 of these. And now I get why. Because there's a bridge between your inner child and the actions that you can take to heal this. So each, as within, so without, there's a bridge here that you can use. Just like Lugia can use the storms to come up from the depths to be able to connect again to the world. Just like the Cullens in Twilight used the storms to be able to be themselves more and still engage in normal human things in their own way. You can bridge this by allowing your inner child the creative freedom he or she desires. He, she, they desire. You can do this. Okay, pile 4. Yours went even longer. I said the same thing with pile 3. I was like, I did not expect it to go this long, but tonight with you guys, Spirit just really needed to talk. Your inner child really needed the platform, and I get that. And I'm really, really honored to be able to bring these messages forth for you guys. I want to say thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for being here, for listening, for sticking around through this reading, because it's nearly an hour long, and I'm amazed at everybody who really sticks through the length of my readings, because I'm so dedicated to this. I also want to say thank you to your guides and mine for facilitating the connections between our energies. Thank you so much, Spirit. These messages are always so profound, but they're always so unique. And I love being able to do these and to bring these forth and to bring them into the collective in a whole new way and in my own unique way, and be able to show others that they can do this too, that they can be themselves too. And it is through the strength of our connection and the beauty and the love of our connection that I'm actually able to do this, because you give me the strength to do this and you taught me how, and I am honored to be able to teach others. So thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you. Pile 4. If this resonated, please hit that like button. Please comment below and let other pile 4s know that you guys are in this together as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, you're going to find links to my author page on Amazon, links to donate to my channel if you feel inclined, and links to book a personal reading with me. Okay, guys, I love you guys so very much, and I am so, so appreciative of you. I really am. So thank you again, and I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye. And